Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to Dream Career Talk Show. And this is a very special episode of Dream Career Talk Show. You have heard us talking about careers, you have heard us talking about job, you have heard us how you can build your dream career. But dream career is always associated with dream life. How can you build that dream life? And when there are couples who are working, how can they support each other in building their dream careers and their dream lives? We all know the corporate life, it's full busy. We need a lot of time. Bosses look for more, clients look for more. To deliver more at the workplace, you need to give more time, more focus, and more commitment. When you are aggressive in your career, your personal life may get less attention. And when the couple is busy building a dream career, what happens to their personal life? What happens to their dream life? Many times we have seen that women have to take a break. They take a sabbatical, they sacrifice their careers to make sure the home runs smooth, family is well taken care of, and sometimes the men also sacrifice. But how do you create that balance? How do you actually build your dream life and your dream career together? To understand more and learn from the practical experience of somebody who has done it and continue to do that, not only for themselves, but they are also doing it for other couples as well. Today's guest, we have two special guests today, so it's a very special episode because for the first time we have two guests coming together. But these guests, though they are two, they are one, right? They are a power couple. They have gone through ups and downs in their professional and personal lives, but supported each other and continue to do that. Riddhi and Vijay are building a community of power couples to live a happy, healthier, and more purposeful life. Together, Riddhi Vijay have authored the book Made for Each Other, which is an Amazon bestseller, right? And there is more what they have accomplished together, but then I let them talk here. So, Riddhi and Vijay, welcome to Dream Career Talk Show.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much for inviting us on this talk show.
Yeah, thank you, Fatah. I mean, it's an honor to be on your talk show, and especially the Dream Career Talk Show. We are really, blessed that we are able to, attend it. And in gratitude to you for having this amazing talk show, which brings, individuals and careers together.
Yes, definitely. I've never heard of this dream career. I've only heard of career, and now you actually have coined this dream career. I'm definitely hopeful that many are actually learning a lot of things from your show. We also regularly watch your shows. Even your last show about that SAP, you're going into the specific things and doing so amazing. You're targeting the right people to help them. A lot of gratitude for that.
Yeah, thank you. And yes, dream career is something, as I said, cannot be like something that can give happiness and fulfillment to people until and unless there is no dream life connected to it, right? And you both are a very good example. I've known you for more than a year now, and the way you are working together, building your dream careers and also your dream life, it's really very impressive. And the way you have been helping others also to do this, right? So, very happy to have you here. And why don't we get started with understanding about your journeys, right? How did you start together? And also, we will slowly get into about your book, Made for Each Other, which we can see here, right? So let's get started with your career journeys. How was it, ups and downs, and how you have been able to connect this with your personal life?
Okay.
You want to go first?
Yeah, so I'll just keep short, and I know Riddhi has got a lot to talk there. This is how we met. But for me, in my life, while I all started from a vernacular school and grew, one thing which always every parent says during our generation is, you study well, get a good job, then you'll get a good girl. Okay, so right, so you can get married. So the inspiration is for getting life settled, and you go there. So for me, I started my career in the corporate in the year 2000. It's about 20 years ago. And after 3 years of me joining, Riddhi came and joined the same company. So just a bit of background about me. So I come in from Chennai. I'm born and brought up in Chennai. So my mother tongue is Telugu, and but I'm much more fluent in Tamil than Telugu because being born and brought up in Chennai, right? The reason why I'm saying that is you can see there's a Viju, Guju there, right? So now you know Vijay is the Viju there. So the Guju part of it, I think she will say.
Okay, so I'm definitely from Chennai. I'm a true blue Chennaiite. However, my mother tongue is Gujarati. So, he used to always call me Guju during our courtship times, and, that kind of caught on with us over the period of years. But coming back to me, I mean, I've been brought up in Chennai, done my schooling, my college, my engineering in Chennai, and got into the campus, interview from my college and got recruited into the first company, and where we basically crossed paths. The first day of the office, I walk into the office and he crosses me and goes out of the office. Like typical wo filmy wala scene. Of course, at that time, both of us didn't register each other. But, it was like that ting ting wala scene that happened with us. So I've been with the IT industry as well for about a decade over. And been in the sales industry, so right from selling dabbas, as we used to call it earlier, like computer service, networking, moved on to software solution services, and so many other things. So that's been, our journey from a IT career standpoint.
Yes.
And I
Both
think,
of us have been in sales and
and so that's the
20
common
years.
thread
Yeah.
that basically connects us. We are two, thorough sales people, selu people, who just happen to, land up together in our life as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and both of you coming from sales, I can tell here, made for each other, sold for each other, right?
Easy to sell to Riddhi. Okay, so that's the toughest sale I've made myself.
Yeah, because I remember Dan Loxell telling like you have to sell yourself, right? And I think
Yes.
that's pretty much in our personal lives or and also in your corporate life as well, right? So
Every human is a salesperson. It all starts when you're a child.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, but yeah, like it's interesting. Sometimes we rewind back our life. Me marrying a Guju, can I even think of it? Right? And I mean, the same thing I'm sure she also will be thinking because I'm a hardcore carnivore. Non-vegetarian is my life, right? And she's been completely a vegetarian. And right from the language to everything completely different.
Yeah, so I understand where you're going. So he's saying about, it is not an easy journey for us as well. While today we may look like the made for each other couple or the mad for each other couple, it has been a journey of a lot of tiffs, lot of quarrels, lot of understandings, communication, and so many other
Yes.
things. So we had our fair share of challenges that we've gone through to come to this level where we are able to understand each other. मतलब इशारों में हो जाता है, like you look at him and he looks at me and we know what we are thinking. So
Okay.
it's taken a lot of effort, like how in a dream career, like when you talk about dream careers and careers, when we are so focused in reaching those next levels of growth in our career, we invest ourselves, we invest in our time and energy and effort to learn, upskill ourselves across various areas to move forward in our career. Even a relationship is like that.
That's right. Yeah. And in fact, Fatah, when you said dream career, when you wanted to invite us as couples for this show, right? We were debating off stage as well, right? What is this as a couples, a dream career, and all of this is going to come in. But one thing, subtly everybody would know that the corporates is doing because you also worked for a corporate in the past, correct? You see, most of the corporates understand this. They understand that if there is a bad day in your home, your productivity is gone in the office.
True.
Right?
right.
And if the bad days continues at home, then you imagine what's going to happen for your career. Right? So they realized it when they came out with many counseling and all those kinds of setups. Most of the corporates run that, where they have a counselor available through some tie-ups or something.
True. Yes.
So where you can reach out to resolve your issues. Now, why would a corporate do these kinds of things? Because they knew it. They knew it. If something is not right at home, things may not go much productive in the office.
True. In fact, extending to what Vijay is also mentioning here, and there has been some research that has been done, by different organizations. One such research that we came across was, and I would quote, by Carnegie Mellon University. where you basically did an experiment to find out how does the relation affect productivity, or growth, and general upliftment in life. So in that research that they did, it came out that those individuals or those partners in a marital relationship, who have encouraging partners, or partners who are more in sync together, they are having more successful lives. And this is very interesting when it came out, this research. You want to add something here?
No, although I think we can continue to talk. Fatah, you got something to say? Sorry, I was just
No, let's go on in the flow,
yeah.
right? It's
Good.
going
So
good. Yeah.
no, it's the same thing, right? Another one is work-life balance and all of that. While there are a lot of researchers and stuff like that,
Mm.
it's the realization sometimes which is very important for individuals, right? Many of us running behind careers. Okay, you're building your dream careers, you're building your life, you're building whatever.
Mm.
Fundamentally, you're building all these things for whom? You need to ask this first question to yourself, right? So there is very recently I was talking to another couple, and it came out beautifully when they were actually saying, "Hey, there is no and or in a relationship.
Oh,
There is
yes.
no and or in life. There is only and." Right?
Yeah.
But sadly, in life, most of us always are behind the or, either career or life. I mean,
Or
or the
relationship.
relationship,
Yes.
Or a
either
relation.
or a
Yeah.
relationship. No, it cannot be. No, you cannot compromise one thing to actually get the other. And
Yeah.
then when you reach wherever you want to reach, that time you will see, oh, I missed a big part of my life,
Yeah.
right? And simply, if I have to put it, if you are in your deathbed,
Correct.
right, whom do you want next to you? Not definitely your boss, okay? You want your wife, right? And
Yes.
so we're building careers. I'm not saying, don't build your careers. Building career is important, but I feel even the foundation for you to build your career starts from your relationship. So investing in relationship is the key, and investing in relationship across. I'm not only saying with your wife, with
Yes.
your family, with your friends, everywhere. It's an most important thing which people sometimes take it granted,
Mm.
and they go behind tangible things.
Yeah, I agree with you. And one thing to add to what you're saying, when you say investing in a relationship, we often forget to invest in a relationship with ourselves.
Yes,
Because
Yeah.
while we always try to look around us, we forget to look within us. Because when your relationship with yourself is strong and clear, your relationship with your partner, or your parent, or your family will be much stronger, because you're able to understand the relationship that you have with yourself.
absolutely.
So yeah, I think investing in relationship is all around, and that's what we tell our couples too,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's one. But if you look at like you saying now, Vijay Guju made for each other. We've written a book. All of this. What is driving all these things,
Hmm.
right? What made us to write all this book? And if you look at even before we have to write this book, it may look very, very rosy from outside that yes, for them, they are like made for each other. They know everything and they're moving across. Please, there was time in our own life, it has even gone to the extreme of even getting into divorce stages, right?
Yeah.
It has been that we walked through that path and we have come across to just highlight a few challenges out here, what we faced, right? So the first one, like I said already, cultural,
Yeah.
right?
Cultural. Yeah.
It's a complete shift. And more than me, I'm sure for Riddhi coming into our house, I think you would be
Yeah,
much better to,
I think so. Yeah,
yeah,
because see, especially in India, it's the girl who goes to the guy's house and stays with him, right? And this was a question that my mom also asked me, before getting married. Are you sure about this marriage? I mean, you're a Gujarati. He's a Telugu person. Language is a barrier. Their traditions are different. Our traditions are different. They are non-vegetarians. You're a pakka vegetarian. How are you going to go inside that house and manage, and will you be happy? So these are a lot of questions that my parents of course had before I got married with Vijay. And
plus the veg and non-veg.
oh, that was a big
Yeah,
thing. That
but
was a
but let me give a pause here and ask you something before that, right? Before
Mhm.
actually you convinced your parents, who
Ah,
actually convinced the other person, right? Because again, cultural, you are doing good in your careers initially, both of you,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And when you're investing in relationship, especially when you are in sales career, such aggressive one,
Hmm.
right? Your career would take a little less priority. So how did this start? Like, how did you convince each other? And you knew culturally it's going to be difficult convincing parents, all of this is going to be a challenge. So who started this conversation, and how did you convince each other firstly, and then we will talk about your parents then.
See, in fact, like you say, convincing each other doesn't happen in a relationship. Okay,
Mm.
actually, I don't know why somebody said you fall in love, right? And you don't love, right? I don't know what made them to say you fall in love. Accordingly, for me, if you look at, if you really, what they meant by saying fall in love is typically you're shedding your ego, you're shedding anything and everything for this one person in front of you,
Yes.
and that's why you probably they meant it as falling in love. You keep everything else down and then you see that person, and that doesn't come straight away on day one. Yes, day one you may have a liking to each other, some kind of attraction to each other, you call it infatuation, all of that. But in our case we did not have such phase, right? Initially, if you look at both of us, like I could say, opposite sides,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
We were colleagues, and honestly, for us, it started off like, and he was my senior colleague in office. Um, for whatever reason, I was somebody who was very intimidated by him, because anytime you come and approach him for a help, he will just turn you away. He says, "You don't even know this." Matlab, he would just like tell it on your face, and I'm like, I mean, I don't know, and that is the reason I'm asking you to help me, right? If I would know, I would not even come to you. So that was the kind of thing. So I always kind of, kept him like 2 to 10 feet away from myself, because I really didn't want to get into that zone where you go and approach somebody thinking that they're going to help you, and they just nub you on your face. So that was the kind of thing that it was. But then,
And I want to add here, and for
uh,
me, if you look at she while she was in the corporate in my office, she also does modeling. Okay, and my impression of models and all of that, again from the social conditioning. Come on, man, models. How can you even love models? You kind of already have a preconceived judgmental.
Yeah,
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 right.
Judgmental, yeah.
Don't judge me by
yeah.
my
Exactly. Yeah.
right. I may be a role model. That's how we always say it. But yes, what happens is, Fatah, is no one is perfect, right? No one is perfect. Everybody has got imperfections.
True.
It's like what you want to see in the other person, right? There could be something that you really love in the other person. If you start yourself moving towards the more love side, the positive side of that person,
Yeah.
then you start attracting. You always start looking the negative side of the person, you will stay away. So
True.
in my case, I think, or in our case, I started loving, she being a model, she won the Miss Glitz Chennai at the time. She had, I'm sure they got a lot of letters in her, bags, people following up her, but she was very humble, right? Because people can get easily carried away with these kinds of things. So
Right.
what I really loved in her is being so truthful, humble, the way how she treats others without any kind of that. That is something which I really, love it. And truly, I'm telling you, one more thing which I really see in her is she never shies away from telling the truth. Okay, this person and integrity and truth are like for me one. Riti means integrity and truth, right? She can never lie. I don't know how. I said, how you're a salesperson and you say you cannot lie.
Hey, that's a
Right?
misnomer, okay?
It's okay. I know I also don't
No,
lie.
but this is a good thing you highlighted, because many people have this myth that salespeople are liars, right? You
Yes,
can connect like that, but it need not be that, right?
it need not be that. In fact, for me and both of us, yes, we always believe from an official point of view, we never lie.
Yes.
That's the part. But I'm saying personally also, there could be many things that you will small, you will always try to lie here and there. Whether this friend is coming, that friend is coming, or you're going to a parent somewhere, something or the other. But this one doesn't lie at all. I say, what is this kind of integrity I'm making? See, she says it's easy always if you speak the truth,
Yeah.
right?
You don't have to remember the
You don't
line.
have to remember the line.
That is more stressful for me.
Perfectly. I think
Without
that's very,
क्या बोला है
very
मैंने,
true.
I would rather stay true to what it is, even if it means that I have to go through some challenge. I'd rather go through the challenge and cross it with my truth, rather than take the support of a lie. So that is what
Yes.
I have been right from, I don't know when. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I've
because
been
I also believe in one thing in my corporate life. Yes, at least to my clients, I don't lie, because lying is not going to help you. It will save you at that moment,
yeah.
right? But in the long run, it is not going to help you, because you're going to put your client also into a problem.
People
Right?
can see through.
You'll never do that. So I never do that. But I've learned that even in relationship, it helps. Right? It helps a lot when you're really truthful. But we come to that part of it. But that's
Yeah.
how these kinds of
Yeah. So his
challenges.
question. So his
Yeah.
question was, who
Right.
was
That,
the one
yeah,
who?
who was the one?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So in our case, it's actually like a filmy story, and if you would read our book, the Mad for Each Other book, you will know the journey that we went through. You can actually take a movie out of our story. But I was the one to express my heart out first, and I was the one to tell him that, hey, this is what I feel about you. I mean, and for somebody like me, who at that time believed that it is always the guy who should make the first move. It's never a girl who should make the first move. But and then I realized that whether it's the guy or the girl, if the relationship is if you value that relationship, it doesn't really matter who tells it first, right? So
Right.
I was the one who basically kicked out that limiting belief of my head and went ahead and expressed myself to him. And
And I did not accept it.
and then he ran away.
I ran away because I was so scared. How can I marry a Guju? How will I actually, talk? I can't even speak Hindi, let me tell you. Okay. So forget about Gujarati. How will I even talk to my mother-in-law, father-in-law? How will I bring two families together?
Mother-in-law, father-in-law. First, think of the wife.
Right? Yeah, wife also, right? You're with you, I started talking in whatever language, right? Veg, knowledge, so many things, running in my mind. I
And
was,
mostly, mummy is also running in my
yes, my mom.
Yeah.
I didn't know how will I even convince my mom. My mom is only Telugu speaking and Tamil. She can't even
Yeah.
speak English. Right? I was just thinking, how will these two speak? Because this one didn't know much of Tamil that time.
Yeah.
Okay, so even though I like her, but I was so scared to take the next step. Love is different. Marriage is completely different,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
You can actually love the person for life, but marriage is about bringing two families together. I was so scared, literally. So I ran away. Ran away in the sense, started avoiding her.
Yeah.
Right? Literally started avoiding her. Was so close, and all the vibes were so nice. And when suddenly this conversation comes, I got scared and away. But I'll tell you again what happens in life. That's what.
Yeah. So basically, emotions were there, but logic was being applied there. So it's
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
difficult
The
to take
emotions
that
are
decision.
very strong.
Very
Yes,
strong.
yes, yes.
Very
And
strong.
it was like this. No, when you guys are in love, like when a couple is in love, there's this vibes that they get for each other. That there's butterflies in the stomach, and I don't know what all feelings that you'd like to add. And there's a lot of flirting also that happens, right?
Yes.
So there was something that is going on. You haven't really said it, but there's something beyond friendship. So we had crossed that phase, and then when I started to realize that maybe no, I would like to take this relationship to the next level, and that's when I opened up. But then you should tell what happened after that.
Correct. That's what I was about to say. See, when you run away from the way, that I don't want to marry her or afraid to take the decision, sometimes the decisions are taken when you lose something, fear of losing something. You say the FOMO or whatever now people are saying, right?
Yeah.
Fear of missing out.
Yeah, true.
That happened. I came to hear through some source that this person is getting married to somebody and moving away to America, which may not be the truth also, but I heard it. But truly, there was someone who came, flew down to see her, and she wanted to go and just check out on him to see whether it was a partner or not. She's not even made her mind. Okay. But for me, that's when the real butterfly started flying inside. I said, what if this person really goes and decides? Because I took it for granted that, we'll take enough time to decide. But then I went back to what I realized in my life. When you miss something, right, that's when you will truly know whether that is something which you can leave for your life, or is it okay to leave it. Anything in life, if you put yourself in that situation, you will get an answer. That I got it very clearly. I can't let her marry anyone else. I have to go behind her. From that time onwards, my selling skills started. It was not an easy sale for me, because it's like this, right? You have rejected this client, right? And you now want to sell to the client. Not easy. It was full of
And the client has lost faith in your capabilities.
Not easy at all. After that, yes.
Interesting, very interesting. The way you people have met and used your selling skills to persuade and then get into that relationship. Yes,
Just the persuasion.
culturally it's difficult.
This will be interesting to note the persuasion. This works pretty much, I don't know, even with men or women, anywhere. See, any person, when they want to take a decision, sometimes they never decide. Okay, they want their father to decide, friend to decide. It's called as going and confirming. Whether you want to join a new job, you want to marry somebody, you want to get into anything, right?
We are
Uh,
conditioned, I think, to
you're
validate.
True, true,
to
true.
go and check with a friend. So this one was not taking a decision to come back to me, so I decided to influence her friend. Persuasion, right? You then go and start conditioning, in
Strategies, sales,
strategies, right?
business
Go
planning.
and start moving with a friend and trying to make her realize, that how good I am and stuff like that. Actually, it helped to some extent. And but yes, what I'm saying is, in everything for me also, when I was in love and I had to take the decision to go after her, there were some people who confused me. Hey, come on, how will you marry her? How will your cultural things will work? They'll put all the fear things in your mind, and stop you to take the decision. So those are called the dream stealers or whatever you can call in your real life.
True, true.
Now,
Correct.
one other myth people have, or one other thing that people think about is, okay, we should not marry the people in the same profession in the same companies, right? It becomes really challenging. So,
Yes.
did this ever come across in your minds, and how did you actually take that decision?
There are both pros and cons for that,
True, true.
right? See, yes, the con is there will be a kind of a constant competition without even you knowing who is growing in the career. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, it was there, and there was a time in our career where Riddhi was in fact earning more than me. Both have been in the sales. But how do you deal with that? Is obviously having a mutual respect for each other,
Yes.
right? So you are not in competition with anyone in this world, right? You just are competing on yourselves. And if you have that kind of a maturity, thankfully we had that maturity there, and we didn't have those kind of a comparison. But the plus, this is the con. The plus point, what I would say is,
I
yeah,
think the plus thing is that you really understand what this job takes.
yes,
You understand what the other person is going through, because when it comes to sales, there's a lot of pressure on the salesperson, because every year your clock, your counter comes to zero. Every end of the year, your counter is at zero, which means you need to again put in that kind of effort to basically build and deliver those numbers, those margins. So we are all number driven people, right? So being in sales, it gives me a perspective of what is the kind of pressure Vijay is going through, from the client side, from the delivery side, from the boss side, and so many other things. And I'm sure he also understands the kind of pressure that I would be taking through when I was in my job. So that was one big pro, because we knew what exactly we both were doing.
pros
Right.
definitely are there in the same thing you're doing. You could build something together as well. There's so much of advantages if you have the pro. The con is the critical thing, which I said in terms of the comparison. It comes in.
Comparison. Yeah. So here, I think since you both are here and we have that relationship, right?
Mm.
So I'm going to ask you to be vulnerable here, and definitely, I'm hoping you have been doing this right with the other couples for the benefit. Now,
Mm.
Riddhi, you are doing great, is what Vijay said in your career, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure, like, you could have started sensing that Vijay is feeling that ego, right? If there was something which Vijay
Mhm.
spoke about. So, how did you handle this, Riddhi, when you were seeing that you are working hard towards your career, but your partner is having that ego, right? And on the other side, how did you handle this, Vijay, when
No,
you are feeling this ego? Because see, this is very common these days. Be it you are in the
Pastor.
same profession or you're
Mm.
in different professions, right? But when you see each other growing, there is definitely an inner competition. Sometimes that happens. So, how did
Mm.
you handle this, and how did you overcome this?
Okay, honestly, Fatah, for me, the ideology of ego is not there with Vijay.
Mhm.
Because being in the same profession, we also used to discuss a lot of, uh, you know, um, what is the new technologies, what is it? Because we both, moved into two separate professions. So we would, try to understand what is happening new in his area of expertise, what is happening new in my area of expertise. Like I went into a company that's sold CAD CAM, digital manufacturing solutions. So that was something totally different from what he used to be selling at that point of time. And he got into the financial industry in terms of sales of solutions of there. So it was very interesting for us to exchange ideas. It was very interesting for us to exchange how the market is developing, how things are turning out, how trends are changing, right? But when it comes to salary, right, which Vijay mentioned, that there was a point that I was earning more than him. uh, we didn't let that part really come in between, because with regards to financial management, we were very clear on our views. Whatever was earned by Ridhi and whatever was earned by Vijay was earned by us. So it was a common pool
Wow.
according to us, right?
See, just to add here to
Mm.
make it even more interesting, the way you say it, Ritik keeps telling me this all the time, right? When does a ego come? Ego is actually coming in because of an external problem or external incident or something which has happened. Correct, right? That's why you're fighting over it, and then you get onto this ego. And then, the best way to look at is she's told me, hey, we are a team together against the problem, right?
Yes.
We are a team together against that problem, so we take the problem out of the equation when the
Yes.
problem is there. But still, let me be a little vulnerable here, right? Yes, she never had this problem.
Yeah.
At least me also, I never had this from the corporate and
Yeah.
all those kind point of view. I never had the ego. I would be more than happy if she's growing and she's actually making more money, because it is going to put less efforts for me as well, right? Because we are a team here. If somebody is making all the money, then why would I stress myself to make more money, right?
Right.
So if she's growing much faster, I'll be very happy,
Mm.
having more parties and having fun.
Yeah.
But the ego comes most of the times in the non-corporate, the
Yes.
house-related stuffs.
Yes.
Those are the areas the ego will come for whatever,
Mhm.
right? I would have told her that I'm coming home, I'm going for a dinner with you, right? I would have never bothered to actually inform her, and I just walked in. I would have taken her for granted,
Yeah.
right? The least thing that she would expect me to say is sorry, I came late. But my ego will not allow me to say that sorry, right? Why should I say sorry? Why can't she understand that I'm busy in my office? Why shouldn't she see that I'm going and working in my office for all the things? Here I'm putting all the time myself in front of it, and I'm saying, okay, I will not say sorry. She's not understanding. You
Correct.
understand, correct? She's not understanding. She should be understanding that I'm not there in going in the movie or sitting and drinking with my friends. I was working in the office. She should know that and understand and not expect a sorry from me. This is a ego for me.
No, sorry to was not even in the
No,
equation.
no,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But for her, she was planning an evening out. She was want to go for a walking. She had something else. The least I should say is that I should inform her, respect her for waiting. Many times I had this issue with her, that I will say I'll come in 1 hour, but I'll come in 3 hours.
Oh.
Then there was a time that she said, your time or my time? Right?
Yeah. I would ask him this question. 1 hour, whenever you say I'll come back in 1 hour, I'll say 1 hour your time or 1 hour my time. Because for me, 1 hour is 1 hour, simple. For him, 1 hour can be 3 hours, can be 4 hours, can be 5 hours, can be 7 hours also. That is his 1 hour. So I would very clearly ask him this, because I have certain things planned based on the time that he has given to me, right? And in that time, when he doesn't come up, my plans go for a toss, and I feel you've taken me for granted. You don't value what I'm valuing. So we went through a fair share of challenges on these areas. So this is where the ego really hit.
This is simple example.
Ah.
These egos are there in everybody. I'm just giving you one example
Yeah.
for you to pick. There could be many times where I had an opportunity to say sorry and close the conversation much faster and easier, but I didn't say that sorry. Right? Let me be honest here, right? Because whatever stopped me at that point of time not to say it was my ego, all right? And not and but later what I realized over a period of time, this is something again I've learned from her. She said, "You come here, it's okay to say sorry, Vijay. So when you say a problem, it's okay to say sorry." And whenever she does a mistake, she was saying sorry to me, right? And when she said sorry, she said, "You also say sorry to me." Right? I said, "Why should I say sorry for your problem? Right? You only did the mistake. Why are you making me say
Correct.
sorry?"
Mm.
See, she said, in a problem, you take the problem out. Whoever says sorry, the other person also says sorry for whatever anger, words, that this you throw. You will completely come out of that problem.
Yes.
I
There's a closure. There's a closure. Yeah.
Yeah, I really love what
Yeah.
she put me on that. From that day onwards, I'm telling you, I'm waiting for an opportunity to say sorry if I made a mistake.
So that I
That's really amazing, right? And this is like, as you say in the communication, also two-way handshake, right? You are
yes.
coming to that closure, which helps. I think this is a great tip for couples, right?
Yes.
When somebody is doing a mistake, you say sorry, and the other person also says sorry, right? You have that two-way handshake, and then the relationship gets stronger in that.
Yeah, because the other person might feel, one person may be feeling down, ki yaar mistake ho gaya, and I'm telling sorry. But the other person might also be feeling that, like I may be thinking that the other person may feel superior. So just to basically not feel superior or inferior, because in a relationship it has to always be on a common ground. There is no this or this. They say, right, don't walk in front of me, don't walk behind me, walk with me. So in
Right.
every aspect of life, you walk together when you're, whatever be the mistake, whatever be the error, whatever be the challenge or the problem, when you are handling it together, you can resolve it faster. And then you don't let the ego come in when both of you have said the sorry. So it's totally kicked out of the equation. So that's how we
Right.
managed it. Yeah.
Yeah, and one important element that Vijay was talking about was when I told her 1 hour, I would come like typically in 2 or 3 hours and all of this. Now in working couples, we know time is very precious here, right? You both are working in different companies, in different jobs, whatever. So how do you do this, and how important is it to manage the time? Now for clients, we always have a calendar we use, we make sure
Yes.
we schedule that, right? But in our families, we never follow the same, right? We
Yeah.
take it easy and then we like, okay, fine, I might come this time, I might come that time. So how
Mm.
important is it to maybe like build a calendar or build a time management system and make sure we know each other's time very well?
Okay, that's a very good question, Fatah. But the sorry thing here is that, we are so proper, disciplined, diligent about whatever do we do with our clients, right? It can be right from your scheduling of your meetings, your reminders, and so many other things. At the end of the day, we are doing all of these things because we can be leading a happy, successful, prosperous life. Then we forget that that element that needs to be done over there needs to be, if not replicated, at least aped to some extent, right?
Right.
So for us, we went through a fair share of challenges about time management, because both of us are in sales, both of us would go out with clients for me, for dinners and so many other things. Then we decided, no, these are certain things that are basic in our relationship. So we started clearly communicating to each other that this is what I want in this relationship, and I will be feeling valued if we are, basically doing this particular thing in a relationship. For example, it could be, you take me out for one lunch. It need not be at a five-star hotel, it could be anywhere. Just take me one lunch where just you and I are talking together. No phones, nobody else, just you and me, just talking. Matlab, you can be even silent or talking, but that is the time that we are spending for each other together. So that was something that we started to bring it in our calendar. You want to add here, Viju?
See, what I wanted to say is I'm just remembering Sudha Narayan Murthy, right?
Yeah.
Where I think very recently, I think this is very popular now in the WhatsApp forwards, where one of the question that was asked to her is, now, how do you never have fights with Mr. Narayan Murthy, which is the
Yeah,
Infosys,
that is a funny one. Yeah.
chairman, and why? Why is that? Right? Then she says, come on, he's there only 1 week in the whole month. I have very less time with him. Even with the less time, you want me to fight and actually, spend that time also. Right? She said it very, in a jovial way, and
Yeah.
then she said, no, you should start accepting that person, blah blah, all of these kinds of things.
Mm.
While I went and I said, hey, see, Sudha Narayanamurthy also is saying that you should accept the person as his name. She said, for that you should be like Narayanamurthy, right? Then you are, you're roaming out somewhere and you're spending all this kind of time. How I can be? But the jovial part which she said, that's what
Yeah.
really caught up. With very very less time you have with
Together.
Narayanamurthy, I would like to spend that time happily. But that is the truth with all the working couples,
True.
Right.
right?
Very profound.
Time we have for each other is very less. Why would I waste the time with the ego, fighting, challenges, blah blah blah? Rather, I keep it constructively. When I'm creating so much of timers and reminders and everything beautifully for my office and giving that priority, I should give that priority here also.
Yes.
But now comes your question: is why are people not creating this priority? Right? Because the fact is, Fatah, they don't know that this is priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't
Okay,
realize that.
I'll tell you one example here, right? Again, very recently, somewhere or the other, we would have done this, but we never know it unless somebody asks you this question. No one in my life has come and ask me what are your core values as a question, right? Very recently, when I went through, some transformation mentorship program run by, this gentleman called Gurudev, Dev Gadvi in Passion Pranam, this question came to me.
Yeah.
That's when I was trying, okay, what are my core values? What am I interested in? I was trying to write something. Then this, in that core values list for me, had never written health or family.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
I'm writing career, blah, blah, so many other things which you want to go after. And really family is also there somewhere.
Somewhere it's there.
It's there. Maybe in the top 10 it is there, but not in the top 5. Then she comes and tells me, okay, these things, why are you doing? Right? This has family. Then slowly the family is
It
coming up the
starts to
level.
come up. Yeah.
Then it come up all to the level of number one for me.
Mm.
Then Ritik
Mm.
question. Okay, if you're not healthy, how will you take care of the family? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, then healthy has to go up on the top, right? Once you get that clarity in terms of what, because I was never health conscious, for example, never health conscious, right? This she said, you don't have to be health conscious for yourself. If you love your family, if you have to take care of your family, you should be healthy.
Yes.
If you are
Right.
not healthy, how
It's
will you
your
even take care of?
responsibility
Yeah,
to be
it's your
healthy. Yes.
responsibility to be healthy. If you love your family, man, you become healthy. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to become healthy for yourself. You may be a Sadguru, whatever you want. I can live this life anytime you want. You be whatever in your mind. But you love your family, you be healthy.
Yeah.
From that day onwards, I took health as a very, most important factor in my life. Right? Now, health is the most important factor, number one. Number two comes the family, then comes the remaining all the thing. Where should I be focusing more on prioritizing and doing all my events and reminders in these two categories?
Yes.
And that's what we both are doing in prioritizing reminders, like what she says, weekly 1 day is a quality time. It could be look like we are actually creating it does help. Are we following up to the T? We may not,
True.
but at
Right.
least it is there in the mind.
See, the intention has been set. So many years we've been without the idea of creating that intention of that quality time. That's a very scary term and it was a very
Yes.
scary term for Viju.
For me, very,
What's
very
quality
scary term.
time?
I'll ask her, what is quality time?
What do you
Now
mean
I'm
by
sitting
quality?
all with you all the time and you're saying quality time.
So it was like we are watching some movie, that's quality time. Hey, I said we are watching a movie. That's not my idea of quality time, right? So it took a lot of effort on both our sides, a lot of keeping this communication open, because sometimes you can get into this phase that yeah, I already told him he should do it. I would expect that he should do it. मैंने बोल तो दिया, then why is he not doing it? Then that means he doesn't respect me. So those kind of things would start to come in my mind, and then I realized, hey, just because you have told him, that doesn't mean that he has to do it, because I may not be the person or the thing that is running in his mind the whole 24 hours, right? He may have so many other things to focus on. I may be one of those things, and I should understand and appreciate that, right? And then expecting that he should remember what I have told him to do for me is not fair. Rather, kick that expectation out, be
Yes.
crystal clear in your communication. It's okay if you have to repeat it. Some people think that if you're repeating, am I nagging my husband? That's a
Oh,
question
which
that
means
can
he is
come.
not interested.
He's not interested, am I
Assumption
nagging?
again.
So many assumptions come in, right?
Talk it out.
But the fact is that and you would know about it, when you say assume, it makes an ass out of you and me. So we
Right.
decided to be keeping that assumption, assuming everything out, and bring up conversations that can be brought across, and expressing your feelings to your partner. So that's what we
I'll,
got.
I'll, I'll tell you this one thing
Mm.
which may hurt many men out there. Okay, especially my Indian friends and brothers. See, sometimes it's very difficult for men to say no to friends. Okay,
Oh yes.
they don't know how
Yeah.
to say,
No to wife.
and they can
For
easily
sure.
say no to wife, but they never say no to friends. Right? It's like this: if your friend calls out of a blue and you'd already committed to your wife and you're going out somewhere, learn to say no, right? That you already have got something planned. Even if you're going on a drinks or whatever as a party in the evening, you committed, you're coming back on a certain time. Either inform the wife, hey,
Yes.
the conversation is moving forward, and I'm going to come late. Just don't keep her guessing, right? Or you say the friend, no, cut it out. This is important. I have to go back home, right?
Yeah.
Because there is some the people are waiting. It's not only wife, your family, kids. For your kids, they're also waiting. So you give the priority and see how you can balance yourself. Sometimes we take our own family for
For granted.
For
granted,
granted.
and we give
Yes.
all the importance to the outside world, right? Which is not necessary, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Don't compromise your family time for anything else.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And here you spoke about something very important. And again, this we use only in the corporate world, like communication, right?
Yes.
We say communication is key to success, and we use all those communication skills in our corporate life. But when it comes to home, right, we are not really communicating well. So you mentioned open communication. Now, do you want people to over communicate? Do you want to under communicate? And how can people like still use this skill as well in their life, in terms of their personal life, rather than just putting it professional life?
Can I add something here? It's going to be a little funny out here. Okay. Since you said the corporate world, I'll also tell you. See, Fatah, you know this in every world in the corporate. when you're signing a contract, in the contract you would have said a lot of deliverables. And then there is a laundry list of assumptions. You're calling out the assumptions
Yes.
in the paper because you don't want a disconnect in that contract. Correct? Right? Because you want the client to be aware, hey, listen, these are the assumptions. Over a period of time, you want to thrash out these assumptions so that our contract is kicking in live. Apply the same thing in the marriage. Right? Apply the same thing. Deliverables are very key. That is easy because tangible things, you're building a house, you're buying a car, you're building a family, blah, blah, blah. Tangible deliverables are good. Assumptions are not there, right? The problem is people don't know how to write assumptions in marriage. And that's when, we recently, what we did an exercise called as the madness
Genie exercise.
madness genie. Why don't you say about
this
it?
is very interesting to note. Okay, so we also went through our own fair share of curve to come to that madness genie exercise, and it is there in our book as well. So we decided that there will be no more assumptions about each other, like what is his expectations or what are my expectations. So we decided to sit down and write down, when we call it madness genie, because we will be like the genie, who will be giving, or you look at your
Fulfilling.
partner as a genie who will be fulfilling all your wishes. So I said, I wish that Viju comes home on time. That's my wish. Okay, so
Now your first wish was, I wish Viju was not a mama's boy.
I was being kind on you. I didn't want to say that. Okay, yeah, that was
Okay.
my first wish.
That's the first wish.
My first wish was, I wish Viju is not a mama's boy, because even in my honeymoon, I had left my home and married this guy and come with him. In the honeymoon, 3 times a day, he used to call home and speak to his mom. 3 times a day, every day in the honeymoon. Imagine my thought process. So I said, I wish Viju is not a mama's boy.
See, I said I can't be a genie for you for everything.
Yeah.
But at least the fact is, you at least will know what your partner is looking at.
Yes.
And honestly, I'm telling you, when I started writing this exercise, it works very detrimental for me. Okay, so she could write 30 wish
Yeah.
very
I have
fast.
allotted
Okay,
it.
actually, she was writing initially, and I said I finished it. I peeped into her. She said she has written 15. I wrote 5. I said, what the hell you're writing? These kinds of small things also. Now I'll write everything. Okay, you also write. I wrote and I went to some 10 or 15. We have published that in the book, our wish list. Okay, if you read it, it'll be funny. So it'll be 15. We have written. She has written 30. She said, do you want me to write more? I said, leave it. This 30 also, I don't know whether I'll fulfill or not. But at least one of the wish, I'll tell you what was written there. Only then I knew this. Okay, this is what I remember. She said, I wish he helps me to get the children ready to school. Okay.
Yeah.
She's written this. See, again, these are some unwritten rules in our world. Okay. There are many unwritten rules in our world, right? That's you want to talk about?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to talk about a lot of unwritten rules in our our side of the world. The wife has to cook. The wife has to take care of the house. The wife, she may be the CEO outside, she may be the top honcho in some company, but the moment she walks into the door, she becomes the maid, she becomes the wife, she becomes the mother, she becomes a caretaker. So many other things. So मतलब उसका पूरा जो professionality है वो घर के बाहर.
Thankless job.
हाँ. So once you're inside, you have to you become that, right? While the CEO husband can come in, walk in, मतलब watch the television, पाँव के पाँव रख के, change the channels. Hey, what's the dinner? मतलब this is what happens in our house, right? So these are the kind of unwritten rules. But then I realized that it becomes very overwhelming for the woman. She's also working, and in our case, both of us are in sales jobs, so we both are taking similar pressures, if not same challenges, but at least the pressure that we face in our jobs is very similar. And I would come back after my office and get straight, wash my hands, get into the kitchen, and I lived with my in-laws, so I couldn't even have the luxury to chalo kuch order kar lete hain. I had to straight come home and go into the kitchen, and this guy would come and aram say sit up and watch the television, watch the dinner, and it was used to be. I said it's not easy for me, but yes, I went through that, learned, became more stronger after that. But having said that,
no, but I like to add here. Someday when I try to go inside the kitchen, my mom will come and say, in our family, no men will go to the kitchen. Okay,
please.
This happened. This happened because this is a conversation with the mom and the son, right?
Now, no son in the family goes into the kitchen. The husband can go. My father-in-law would always be in the kitchen. Okay? The son is not allowed in the kitchen.
Right?
Okay?
Yeah.
And that is so not fair. Okay, because and come on, yeah. I mean, I don't want to say anything less or more about anybody, but you need to be fair, because when you're expecting your husband to help you in the kitchen, why can't I expect my husband? He's your son, no doubt, but he's my
Yeah.
husband, right? So this
Maybe
is
again, this is the way we are all conditioned, right? Our
and
moms, our dads, everybody.
But for the
true.
what is there is, it's important for me to know. See, when did I do this wish list? After 15 years of
Oh yes.
marriage. 15th year,
Oh,
we wrote the wish list. Because till the time, I never wanted to ask this question. But when I came across this somewhere, someone was doing this interesting, I said, why don't we try ourselves? When she wrote, what came in my mind is, I now knew at least 30 of them,
Mm.
but one of them which stuck in my mind is that why can't I help her just to get the kids also ready? Because see, when she is not in the house, when she is traveling somewhere,
Yeah.
I'm making the kids ready and go to the school. But when she is in the house, I'm taking her for granted that she will do it. Why should I? So there was one day I got up and I just made the kids ready and send her to school. And she was so much surprised.
Yeah.
She said, at least I said, I thought, let me be the genie for you for this one wish.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm saying it's important to know at least what the partner wants. When will you know in life? Do
yeah.
you want to live the whole years of marriage and you say you're happily married without even knowing your partner's wishes?
Yeah.
Right? I said, go write the wish list. You may not fulfill all of them. At least you will know it.
Yeah.
And it will be nice to see that one or two you fulfill also know. The amount of happiness you get, and that is huge.
The key thing is knowing, Vijay.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're specifically taking an opportunity to call it out. Because unless and until I call it out, I don't expect Vijay to know it, right?
Correct.
He's not a magician that he can magically understand what's running in that brain of mine. And with the women's brain, we are so connected with so many things in the past, present, future. You can imagine how the thing
Yeah,
can be.
I know very well. I know it very well. I will touch that. Yeah.
So it
No,
is
but
important.
let me highlight this here. Whatever the tips you have given, really golden tips. And I would highly recommend people to pick up this book, right? Made for each other, because only these tips, if this can change people's lives, think about it. They have put all that coming from not only their experience, but Riddhi Vijay have put it from the experience of working with others as well. So definitely for all the corporate professionals who have been following me and who have been watching this or watch it later, pick this book, because all these small tips, right, can make a big change in your life. So thank you, Riddhi and Vijay, for sharing this, and I'm going to implement this in my life as well,
Thank
right?
you, thank
So
you.
yeah, so let's go ahead, and then one important question for you, Riddhi, here. I
Mm.
know you said in your wish list you put I would love, or I wish he's not a mama's boy. But when we were doing this back end conversation, you mentioned about how you actually sacrificed on your career where you were at the peak of it to make
Yes.
sure your relationship with your mother-in-law is going to be smooth and build that. And how important is it? Because a lot of people struggle in this and they are actually not clear what step to take when. So
Mhm.
how do you actually balance between this family and profession, and how important is it?
No, but even if it's though this question is to Riddhi, even before she starts answering, I just want to make a comment about this to this. See, there was like I said, when Riddhi moved into my home, it was not easy for her. She was going through a lot of struggle. When I, in fact, proposed her that we should move out and live separately, right? She was resisting. Okay, she said, "No, I don't want to run away from this. A relationship, family, these are all things which you break once, it's broken for ever. It's very difficult to bring it back."
Yeah.
She said, "Whatever is it, we are going to be together in this, and we are going to, I'm going to fight it for out." And
Yeah.
that's when the
Yeah.
sabbatical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This was just before we got married. In fact, this suggestion was given by Viju.
yeah, they will not accept you. How are you
Yeah,
going to take?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Especially from my mother-in-law standpoint, because he being, the only son of, after a point, um, obviously my mother-in-law had in fact lost an elder son in the, her first son, and I knew about this history with Vijay, that he had lost his elder brother, and I thought it was very unfair for me, for the sake of trying to live the ideal life with my husband, that I take her second son also away from her. And I somehow didn't like this idea, and we've been brought up in our household where we learn to live together, we learn to tolerate, we learn to be compassionate, more understanding of each other. So we that was the mindset that I came from. And definitely the first year of marriage for me was like the big challenge. And we always, joke about this: love is blind, marriage is the eye opener. मतलब मेरे लिए eyes, ears, कान, नाक सब खुल गया था the first year of marriage. Because I was in a family, while my father-in-law was, more accepting. It definitely was a challenge for me to get my mother-in-law, for many many years to come around to accept me as the daughter-in-law of the house, right? First year especially, I had moved into a new job, which was the job that Vijay said that I was earning more than him. So that was the job I had moved into. And the pressure was very high. The numbers were high. The pressure was high. The traveling was high. And in a week, I would be traveling 4 days out of home. So I was not even at home. And whatever little time I was at home, it was not the most, ideal time for me to be at home because, of course, there's so much of disconnect between me and my mother-in-law, and then, certain expectations and ideologies and so many other things. And in fact, between me and Vijay also used to travel a lot because he was, working on two big deals.
We used to meet in airports.
Yeah. And my boss used to joke, which did you meet your husband at the airport today? So, that was the kind of thing we were actually meeting across the arrival and departure of the airports during the first year of our marriage. And then at the end of that first year, when I went through, I was like, this is not happening. I'm running on numbers, on so much of stress in my work. And when I come back home also, I'm not at peace because, things are just not gelling. First, the language. My Tamil was also tuta futa Tamil. Like I would try to say something, and I had learned Tamil from the auto walas, So you can imagine ki kaun sa level of Tamil mera ghar mein tha, right? So, and it would not have any of those respectful words that you use for elders because I didn't know those words. So it took me a lot of time to, be able to even communicate with my mother-in-law. And at a point, I was like, is it worth it? I mean, I'm going through so much of stress at work. I'm going through so much of stress at home. Is it really worth it, for me to go through so much of stress? Why can't I try to see if I can take at least one thing under control? And I always believe this, Fatah: if you really want to do something and make an impact, you need to give that time to that thing that you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Here in my case, I was giving so much of time at my work. Of course, I was the youngest salesperson in that company, in that role. And I had hit the highest number in the business in a long time, because obviously all my energy, my focus, everything was on my work. And then I realized that I had not given that amount of energy to my house, to my mother-in-law, in trying to establish a relationship with her, to try to get to know her, try to understand what she's trying to say, and try to, the most important thing, try to learn their style of cooking. Okay,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
for man, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, right? So that's the thing.
I'm so gifted for that.
so
She did that.
so yeah, so it took me. And in my house, being in sales, my mother used to see the kind of, pressure I used to go through. So I was not even going near the side of kitchen. So whatever cooking I learned after marriage, and that also I learned from my mother-in-law. Of course, it took a time, and it was a challenge for me to figure out, and especially touching non-veg, because matlab, the max I've touched is an anda. So I had to invest the time in that.
No, yeah, she cooks the non-veg for me. She doesn't eat it.
Yeah.
Right? That's how she was.
So it was important for me to give that time to that relationship at that time, because I had missed it in the first year, being so sales focused, so career focused. I said, I discussed this with Vijay, this is not happening. I'm feeling so frustrated because and honestly, Vata, I'm not a person who will go and shout at somebody. I will not give answer back to somebody. And whenever my mother-in-law would scream, I would not give it on her face to her, because I'm not like that. I'm not, that is not me. But what would happen? That entire frustration would go and fall on his head. And he would face, matlab, you can say band baja barat wala scene would go to him. And I was like, Vijay, this is not working. I mean, we're together because we love each other so much, but this is just not working. So I'm thinking of taking a sabbatical. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad at that point Vijay also supported me wholeheartedly in this decision.
No, I shouldn't say it's easy also.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. There are times I know many men like me would go through this. Sometimes I told this to Riddhi also. It may look sometimes the problems is all for the women, but there is problem which men go through as well. I'm telling you very
Oh,
honestly.
yes.
My mom, who's been very close to me, but after marriage, she gets into a kind of a doubting, right? Who does the son give priority to, me or her, right? So there is always a doubting there. Na? And now when I go and genuinely support her for something also, she thinks, oh, now you will support her and not me, I know, right? These kinds of conversations will hurt even more. And
Yeah.
then anger will go back on her only,
Yeah.
right? And then this one will start coming and saying, if I tell you you're going and asking her, you're creating more problems for me.
Exactly.
Then I said, then why do you even tell me? So at least just listen. So I am listening all these things, it going through the roof. How much can I keep on taking it without even giving it back someone?
Yeah.
So it was very, very difficult. At one point, I told Riddhi, see, one side you are giving me left, on the other side, my mom is giving me right. Right? I'm stuck completely in between. I don't even know who to go and talk. Right? In terms of venting out what's actually going through. You come all the way from Bangalore or wherever her mom is that time moved to Bangalore. You're still in touch with your mom constantly. Somewhere you're talking to her. She's supporting her, giving you some kind of a guidance.
Oh, no, no. Oh, I want to stop you, Vijay.
Yeah.
I never mentioned about problems to mom.
No, but whatever, she was very openly talking to you.
I would talk about other things. Yeah.
Yes, but for me, when I'm talking to my mom, anything on something, right? So it always gets into assumptions. My mom thinking that genuinely am I saying, or what point of view I'm saying. But yes, it took some time. I also realized, like what she says, being silent is sometimes the best answer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that is the best answer for many problems now. And obviously, my dad has taught me that. So I've seen him all the time do that. So I used to wonder why is he quiet now? But I also realized sometimes silence does help.
No, you realize very late, Vijay.
Yeah, no, I realized it pretty late. When
Oh, we used to be loud. Matlab, Fatah, if we are shouting, everybody can hear, and we will not even care because it would get like so loud. But the fact is, at that point, for me, of course, it was a fear in my heart. Because for women, when you're earning, you feel you feel more confident when you're having your own money in your
Right.
bank, and you feel that you don't have to even stretch your hand out and ask your husband to buy a gift for him on his birthday. It feels very weird, and especially when you've been earning all your life till that point of time. So it was a very scary decision for me, to be honest. I was like, I don't know how Vijay will think. Will his thinking towards me change? Once I become, like once I take the sabbatical, will I want to go back to work after that? So many questions and doubts kept hitting me at that point of time. And then we decided, okay, let's not overthink it. Let's take it step by step. So then I informed my boss. I said, I'm taking a sabbatical. He's like, why are you taking a sabbatical? I said, no, I need to sort this out. Otherwise, I just can't focus on work, because it really drains the energy out of you when things are not going well for you in the house.
Correct.
So I decided to take that step, move forward.
yeah, it's kind of giving that priority for that relationship
Yes.
than the career.
Yes. So I gave that importance. I came to learn their style of cooking and kept practicing. Of course, it took me about almost about what 6 to 7 months to get a hang of their style of cooking. But I think it paid off in the end, because I came, and this is the biggest compliment that I ever got in my life from my father-in-law. And he had asked me, "Who has made the sambar today? Is it you or mommy?" I said, "It's me." So I just can't make out the difference. And like that was like the biggest compliment that I got from my father-in-law, and I really cherish that from him. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you made this sacrifice, when you were able to fix things at home, later when you went back to career, were you able to play it big now and then win in bigger ways?
Okay, so after I got hell of the situation at home, at least to some extent, and in my case, I think I was a tad bit lucky, honestly, Fatah. Being a woman in sales was not so much of a thing, when I was in sales about more than
No,
when
I should
2003.
add here.
Ah.
Maybe you may not remember some sequences which I can recollect now.
Tell me.
See, Fatah, I'll tell you something. When somebody takes a sabbatical, in some cases it can be even longer terms, right? In her case, it was 1 year. She went back to the career. Again, she took another large break for kids.
Yeah.
Again, another sabbatical. And again, going back into the corporate. Sometimes people will lose that confidence of going back and working again. Okay.
Right.
In Ridhi's case, what was happening is, that's also something which is interesting, is while she's quit the corporate career, she was not keeping herself idle.
Idle, yes,
Okay.
true.
you were constantly doing something or the other. Either you were doing network marketing or you were
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
something where, or you were constantly in touch with your bosses or whoever.
Yes.
Your
And I was coming
communication
to that.
channel. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what I wanted to
Yeah,
remind you.
I was
Yeah,
just coming
that
to.
we definitely need to cover here because it's
Yes.
going to help a lot of people for
Yeah.
whatever reason they take that break for maybe pregnancy or afterwards, maybe due to family or anything, right? How do they actually make use of this time so that they don't get disconnected from career and easily be able to get back into their career? So, what did you do, Riddhi, during
So
these
I
times?
did a few things, Fatah. So like Vijay, he was trying to jog my memory, but it's there. So let me just reiterate. While I was taking the sabbatical, I was also keeping in touch with my colleagues in the industry, not just my boss, but also my colleagues, like my co-sales, folks in the company, people whom I had met in the partners. Like since it's a sales job, you also work with partners. So I was in touch with them on and off. I would call them, speak to them, understand what is happening. Try to check out on an opportunity that I was involved with in certain cases. So I always ensured that I kept in touch with my colleagues, my partner channel, or even individuals from competition, because when you're in the industry, you get to meet all these people. You will know your
Right.
competition, you'll know the salespeople in the competition. So I always ensured I kept in touch. So for me at that point of time, because of just this one thing of keeping in touch, I used to get calls from my competition asking me if I was available to look at an opportunity from their organization as well.
Also,
Right?
you were doing one more thing. Now, should I jog your memory? Because
What?
I know.
You just don't want to let me finish, Vijay. Okay, you
Okay,
say.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay.
Let me wait to hear that.
Yeah. And so second thing I did was I was trying to also read up on articles, on LinkedIn, and see where what technology is
Keeping
happening. Yeah,
abreast.
keeping abreast with whatever is the latest in the field of work that I was into. So I ensured that it would not be on a daily basis, Fatah, but at least I ensured I was in touch, right? So that honestly helped me. And for people who are into other areas, like, and I would just want to extend it a bit. So if people who are in typical technical roles, technology, today's technology becomes yesterday's technology tomorrow, right?
Right.
That's the rate at which technology literally moves forward. So it's best to keep upskilling yourself when you get the opportunity, and a sabbatical is a great time to upskill yourself into an area that you may want to pursue in the future. So I think that is what I did. You want to add
Now
here
I'll add
now?
most important one.
Tell me.
Okay. Now the beauty is, yes, she was in touch and she was doing all this career building, skills building, connection, relationship. All these things is good when you are running after money. Okay, simple. Because you want to have financial security, rather than I'll put it in that way, right? You want to build your financial security, your confidence, and you're trying to keep that. So support the family. Obviously, support me because she sees that I'm struggling.
Yeah.
But the day when she realized, hey, I think now we are in the better off in the career, I think one person is enough to run the family, and whatever income you're having is good enough to run the family. That day onwards, I saw what she was doing. That day, she was not sitting idle and watching Netflix. Okay. She started going behind her purpose of life.
Yeah.
Okay. She started talking about, why am I born? I'm not born to work for somebody and die.
Yeah.
I cannot do all this thing throughout my life. This all started in 2014 after the second child. Then when
Yes,
she's taking that
yes.
sabbatical break.
Yeah, yeah. So what I was talking about
Yes.
was the initial sabbaticals
Initial,
that I
right?
took. But after my second child, and
Again,
when we
that's
had
a
stabilized financially, so that was the sabbatical that I took. I said, Vijay, I want to focus on what I love to do. I want to find out what I love to do. Because when I was a kid, I loved to dance. I love to, do modeling. I'd love to do like comparing and all. But
I
now I have
remember when
lost it. I don't know what I love to do
I
now.
remember when she came and told me after the second child sabbatical 2014, see, I think now we are earning well. I don't think I need to support you financially anymore.
Yeah.
Let me go and figure out what really I want to do in life.
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes, yes, yes. I
She
was
was
very clear about that, Fatah, because while so many things are there, if you are not finding that self value, that self worth, that self love, and you cannot find that unless you figure out or try to figure out what is it that you really love to do in your life, and what is it that brings you fulfillment. So I
yes,
started,
fulfillment.
yeah, I started exploring that. I said, no, I want to know what is it that really makes me tick. And when I was a kid, I wanted to learn Kathak, and Viju also knows about this. I wanted to learn this classical dance form. You won't believe, after my second child was delivered, and after after about, I think, 8 to 10 months after the delivery, I went and signed up for Kathak classes in Singapore. So I went, I used to, and I went for, like, since I was at home, so I said I'm not going to take one class a week, I will take three classes a week. So I took three classes a week, and in a matter of 6 months I finished 2 years ka certification in my Kathak. It's an 8 year, 8 year certification course. So in that 6 to 8 months I finished 2 years of certification with Kathak, and I was feeling so great about it, that I'm doing something that I love to do. And when you do that, when you are really in that space of self love and self appreciation, you start to heal so many things. Because over a period of so many years of marriage, so many conditionings invariably come upon you ki tum ghar ki bahu ho, you have to behave this way, you have to do this, you are a mother now, you have to do like this. So your so many layers have come onto you, and then you suddenly get lost at who are you, what is your
Right.
individuality in this whole relationship. And then I decided, no, I want to find who am I. So I started to, start peeling the layers. And that was the thing that I did during my, last sabbatical. And honestly, when I started to pursue that, I also started to see things in front of me that gave me an idea ki, yaar, this is what I associated as purpose in my life. And that's how, in fact, even the mentorship program came through, because I was constantly searching ki, what is
Yes.
it that I want to do?
Yes. I'll tell you one thing. Bad things spread faster.
Oh, yeah.
Good things take some time to spread. But it's, yes, that purpose of life, whatever you're searching for, is caught up on me as well, right? And then over a period of time, you start questioning why are you going to office. But yes, at least I have to tell myself, no, financial security for me is important at this point of time. I'll continue going to my career, right? I'll do that. I enjoy anyway sales, and I'm doing that, right? So it caught up on me, and that's how this Viju Guju and
Oh,
all this
yes.
movement was born. And you know, you want to talk a little bit about the movement because we're
Yeah,
also
movement. Yeah,
cover.
we are already
Yes,
covered like an hour and 10 minutes because
correct.
it
Thank
was
you.
an interesting discussion. But I'm sure like this is going to help a lot of people who have watched live plus watching later. So why don't we talk about the movement and the book, right? How it can help people so that people can stay connected with you, and wherever they can get your advice and help, they can reach out to you. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. We'd love to talk about our movement. I mean, because it is something that is so close to our heart, and we associate with it with our soul. Being in a relationship of marriage 15 years now, we've of course been through our fair share of, like roller coaster ride. It's been the ups, it's been the downs. The ups has taught us to be grateful. The downs has given us a lesson. So we have always, taken up from there. And then when we speak to so many friends of ours, we have so many couple friends of ours whom we spend a lot of quality time with, meeting up and catching up. And they always used to call us made for each other. You're made for each other. I said, and we used to like, yeah, thank you so much. But, it's taken a lot of effort, work to get there. And people don't understand effort, work. What do you mean? Right. So we thought it was important for couples to, understand that, yes, you can be a fantastic mate for each other couple or a mad for each other couple. And we in fact coined it also, right?
Yes.
You just tell what we coined.
Yeah, I said you're made. If you're mad for each other, you become.
Made for each other.
Made for each
Right?
other. Wow,
Yes.
this is amazing.
Yeah, so we coined this thing, and we just coined it when we were just going for a walk. I said, hey, this is matlab, it's too cool. Like, it's just kind of binding. And we associate a lot with that.
We are mad at each other also many times.
Oh, yeah. But it's important, the
It's
mad at each
important.
other actually makes you mad for each other. So, having said that, we decided that we want to really, bring this, journey and understanding to a lot of couples like us, because we thought that it definitely helps people when. And marriage, I've always told this, Fatah, is not something that you get into for compromise, sacrifice, and so many other things. According to me and Vijay, I think a marriage is a partnership, right? A partnership where both of you are uplifting each other, right? It could be physically, it could be mentally, it could be spiritually, it could be from your soul, whichever way. It is an association that you've got into to uplift each other. That's the only reason, we both have gotten together. And to give this understanding, we started to, create this mission of ours, which is to create a world of power couples. We want to impact 1 million power couples through our mission, and
Wow.
help them to grow together. And one more thing I want to add here, Fatah. When we talk about couples, it's not just the couple, because when the couple is on the right track, you're impacting not just your generation, but your generation below you also.
This is
Right.
where I just wanted to add. In fact,
Yeah.
like she's saying, this movement and all of that.
Mm.
We being living in Singapore, And we see that many couples, and not even couples, individuals, are not even ready to get married.
Oh yes.
Right? Why they are
Yeah.
not getting to married? Forget about having children. Right? That's even bigger things. They think, oh, if I have two children, will I be making them study? One, can I make them study? All these kinds of conversation. When our
Yeah.
parents were planning, I don't know how many children they had, right? So they were easy to look at. Now we all calculate everything and do. But here they're so getting scared to get
Scared.
into a committed relationship,
Yeah.
marriage for life, and all these kinds of things. I was just telling Riddhi, I don't know the way how the world is going. I don't know what will happen when our children grow up.
Yeah.
Correct? So, at this juncture itself, I'm seeing that people are not getting committed. It is because they don't realize how they can get benefit out of the relationship, right? They don't realize the life is not going to be the same way after 10 years, after 20 years, after 30 years. They're not able to see that, right? Maybe in 20s, you wouldn't need a partner. 35, 40, you will start feeling missing.
Companionship.
Your
Yeah.
companionship is not there. You will suddenly see your purpose of life is itself is missing,
Yeah.
right? At that point of time, you cannot go and search for your partner. Yes, you can. If you lost all this time, still do it, right?
Yeah. It's never
But
late. Yeah.
it's never late. But what people always are scared to actually jump into this relationship. That's when we said, I think our children will see what we are actually
Yes.
living. They learn from us, right? You cannot preach that you don't follow.
Correct.
You
Right.
cannot preach children, hey, you should be thankful to each other. You should say sorry to each other. When I don't say sorry, I don't say thank you to her. How can you make the kid do something? They
True.
learn what you do. So that's how this movement.
Yeah, and to add to what Viju is saying, it's mostly like this. Our children, and we've seen this. If you tell them to do a certain thing, they will never do it. But if they
Right.
see you doing it, they will naturally follow it, right? So imagine that when we are building this community of power couples, and that's
The
what I was
relationship
coming
is
to.
very strong in the house.
When the relationship is very strong between the couple,
Couples.
the children also grow to have very strong values. Okay, it can be
Correct.
their anxiety levels are less. They have more confidence in themselves, they have more trust in themselves, more trust in relationships, and so many other things that can help them to become more fulfilled individuals. And I tell this to Viju, right? At 15 years after marriage, we've come to this realization. I don't think that our children should think about the importance of investing in a relationship when they have married somebody. They should already have that right when they're growing up. So that was also one of the key factors that we felt in terms of getting this movement rolling. So it is not just our generation that we are impacting with this power couple movement. We are also impacting the next generations to come.
And we said obviously in our book, what we've written is where to start, right?
Yeah.
As relationships.
Yeah.
And that's where we were talking about core values. It's important that you need to understand yourself first, what you value, what you like. Don't do something that is not in your value system. You're wasting your time. Figure out what is priority for you, then figure out what is priority for you together. Only if you first get that, then you can actually grow into a power couple, correct?
Yeah.
But in this show, Fatah, since we came in here just before the show, we were trying to coin something as what takeaways, because we always believe that, right?
Yeah.
There is somebody who's attending the show. There are many people who are watching the show. They should all have some takeaways. Yes, challenges are there in anybody's life. How, whatever you call the cultural, your ego, whatever, challenges you're facing. But we have set some ground rules,
Yes.
right? What we feel, if these ground rules, because rules are there in office, we all follow. Because
Yeah.
if you don't
Right.
follow, you are out of office.
We
Correct,
are
right?
following rules right from
Yes.
childhood. Don't
Yeah.
do this, do
So
that.
similarly,
Yeah.
I'm saying you follow these ground rules. It's going to really help well. If you don't follow these ground rules, you're out of relationship. Simple.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
like that. You want
And
to
I think these ground rules are something that we have formulated over the period of years from our experience. And this is somewhere we have not maybe called it out very loud in the past, but then we realized that this is what has really made our relationship strong over the period of time, right? So I think we will just talk about the ground rules that we
Yeah.
have set.
I think
And
6 ground rules what we felt.
Yes.
What we'll talk about.
About 6
Right?
ground rules. And we'll start off with
The first one.
the first one, which is called conflict management, right? In our relationship, our conflict management started with this ideology that I told Viju was raat gai baat gai.
That is the rule.
Yeah, that's the rule.
Rule
So
number 1. Yeah.
any problem, any fight, any challenge, we will not let the next morning see that. Simple. With the night, you are going to close it. You say sorry, you want to kiss and make up, you do whatever it is, it has to close. That topic has to be closed and not been brought the next day. And we don't believe in bringing out old skeletons in a fight, because typically what happens when we are having a fight, there is a possibility that you might go and refer to a previous fight, like how you refer to previous notes, you trying to refer to previous fights, right?
Yeah.
That only escalates the situation into something way higher than what it was meant to be. So this was the ground rule when it came to conflict management. You want to add here, Viju?
Yeah, no, that's rule number one. I think Raat Gai Baat Gai. Just for don't remember anything. Just remember this one line. Raat Gai Baat Gai. That's
Yeah,
it. You have to
true.
close that. Don't carry forward the problem. And again, in the interest of time, I'm also watching it. So the second point is open communication. Again, here we spoke a lot about it today. Do not assume. Call it out. Any small things also don't assume. Assumption again is going to create bigger problems, right? If you have a doubt, speak it out. No expectations, nothing. Clearly, communicate. There is, in relationship, if you think is it this the right question to ask or not ask, then where else will you go and ask?
Yeah.
Correct, right? So
True,
open
true.
communication is a key, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the third one that we always have followed was is mutual respect and growth. We've always focused on any situation where we don't want each other's respect to be brought down by either of us.
See, whether it is working couples or
Hmm.
non-working couples,
Yeah.
correct, right?
True, true,
Yeah.
true. See, when I was a non-working couple, when I took a sabbatical, I would of course respect the fact that he is working so hard outside. He's working so hard for us, and I would respect and value that time that he would give at home, and not focus on the lacks, focus on the pros.
At the same time, Fatah, this is the most important thing, right? I'm able to work so hard here in office because of she's able to take care of the family at the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
If she was not there taking care of the family, I wouldn't be working so hard here. I wouldn't have that energy also, right? I'll be work. So it's important that we respect whether it's a housewife or working couple, whatever is it. As partners, we should respect each other.
Not just that, I extend this with you, and respect should also go towards their career aspirations.
Yes.
Because we are individuals at the end of the day. We both have our own ambitions, our own aspirations, how we want to move in life. But to be able to understand what your partner is valuing from a career standpoint or from a growth standpoint, is something which is very important, because that's when you will be able to really understand and give that support to that partner.
That's exactly what I'm saying. We call ourselves as accountability partners to each other,
Yeah.
where we see each other growth. But forget about support, Radhi. Here in the real world, even if you're not supporting, don't discourage.
Yeah.
Discourage. Yeah.
If your partner wants to do something, let them try. There's nothing wrong. So mutual respect and growth. You start respecting, day one results will not come in. But if the other one partner wants to do something new in life, you're not supporting also, don't discourage.
Yeah.
Right? So you not sometimes I say, right, being silent also is helpful. Right? That's where they at least see that they'll try to prove.
It just wanted to remember something that we did. So we are sales guys, right? At the end of the day, we have long hours. We are not defined by 9 to 6 hours necessarily. So we do work a lot after the 9 to 6 as well. And there were times that Viju would sit up till 3:30, 4 in the morning, and he would be sitting. Sometimes, I had asked him, "Ki, what is happening? Why aren't you coming to sleep? Because health is important, and I've always believed in that." So I was like, take some rest. You need to sleep as well, right? So he would say, "No, I have to get this through. I have to finish this thing." And at that point, what I would do, Fatah, was I would sit right next to him, and I would do some other work, because I didn't want him to sit alone at in those late wee hours. I didn't want him to sit alone. So I just that was my way of having a silent support system for him. So till 3:34, I used to sit right next to him, and if at some point, if I would see that he's too engrossed, I would say, "Do I get you a coffee, or can I get you some hot milk, or something that would make him feel that he was not alone in this whole journey when he was working so late."
So as simple as saying mutual respect and growth.
Yeah,
That's what I will say. Respect. Don't assume. Treat each other. Then the fourth ground rule is money management. Okay, I'm telling you, this is again. I've seen a number of couples, they don't talk very openly on this finance thing, and especially for working couples, it's important. whoever is earning whatever money, you respect, and you communicate to each other whatever problems you're having. I'll tell you a classic example of one of the couple was,
Yeah.
yeah, you want to say that?
Yeah. So there was this classic couple that we came across, and their complaint was that I want to go out, for a date every week, but he doesn't take me on a date. Simple. After marriage. So this was the complaint, and then the guy said, actually, I have never opened this up, but I wanted to say it now because we are talking. I did not have that much money in my account to take her out on a date towards the end of the month.
So then the wife is saying, you never told
You
me
never
this.
spelled it
You
out.
told me this, then I would have taken you out, right? Right. I was just questioning
No,
that.
not just that, not just
Yeah.
the money. She said it's also important
Yeah,
because
not the money also.
Yeah.
She said, I never asked you to take out and spend something. It's all
Exactly.
about doing
being
together.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly correct.
Yes.
What is it? Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's more, many a times again, money management. It's important as a couple. Both of us need to know what is the situation, correct? And if they know the situation, then the other person would have understood what is happening. Sometimes in our the way how we look at it, Fatah, we look at slightly even more higher level, and I would like to see if the couples can see at that level. It will be a wonderful way of living. Uh, for us, the rule is, from a money point of view, any kind of income that comes into the family, both of us will know. All kinds of expenditures and loans also, both of us will know.
Yes.
That's from a relationship point of view, right? And your money is my money is your money, everything is our money. Simple. There's
Yeah.
no other your, all this kind of split. Most important thing, this is where I'll tell you, is if there is something which is for my parents, which is happening, right? Or if it is for her parents also is happening, there is no difference.
Yes.
We look at the
Right.
same. Whether she was working or when she was not working, it doesn't matter, right? There could be situations where people want to look at in-laws differently and your own parents differently when it comes to money. But yes, it should also be openly communicated and see
Yes.
that how you wanted to actually help,
Correct.
what kind of things you wanted to do together, right? So
No, but this is something that we decided, right? Because since it's a common pool and money becomes a very sensitive topic amongst
Right.
couples. Even some couples, though, even at 20, 30 years into the marriage, also they don't talk about money management.
Yeah.
They
And it's
just talk.
very important to be transparent about that money, and then the um,
We were so
understanding the budgets and
transparent.
everything.
In fact, Fatah, we were so transparent that we maintained a Google sheet of every single cent
expenses.
and dollar that we spent, and every single cent and dollar that came in. So we were literally tracking. And the last day of the month, we will do an evaluation. We'll put the pie chart. Being in sales gives you that, that overall thing of looking at everything logically. So then we're like, kahan pe zyada expend kiya? Where did we spend much? What could have been avoided? What could have been managed better? And then we, started doing this as a ritual every single month. And it really helped us to, align our finances and be able to figure out where to spend, where not to spend, which is very important.
We did it for 2 3 years, and after that it becomes a habit. Whether
Yeah.
you write it or not, you know it.
Yeah, then it's in your
Correct.
mind.
So it's in your mind and where it's going, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the fifth rule.
the fifth rule, according to us, is in-laws and your extended family, managing them. Okay. And there are a few things that I want to say here. In between the relationship that Vijay and I shared, I was very clear of one thing: nobody can come and talk in our relationship. It is whatever is happening is between us. Even if it's the biggest of fights, it is something between us, and we need to be man enough or woman enough to take that head on and sort it between us. I would never let my mother come, and in fact I would, as much as possible, not even tell her about the fights. I only used to tell her all the great things that were happening in the house, because as parents they're under so much of anxiety and stress ki, we are already gone to another household, Telugu household, ye wo vagara and all that. And you have to always manage that anxiety and keep it at bay. So I always made it a point to tell the good things there. And second thing, when the parents get involved, and I've seen this as a couple, as a husband and wife, as we'll fight today, we'll make up tomorrow, right? There is no baggage
Right.
after. But when your extended family gets in, when people are getting into you both, they will not be able to let go of that baggage, and then the relationship becomes even more heavier to move forward. So we always kept that rule in our in our relationship, that no in-laws or no family member is going to be involved in whatever decisions we are taking, whatever challenges we are facing, we will take it ourselves. And it was also important to consider that his parents are my parents are his parents. And right from the day of marriage, I used to call his parents mummy daddy, and he used to call my parents mummy daddy, and not just by mouth. We used to mean it. And whatever I used to follow at home as rituals with my parents, I was doing the same with my in-laws as well, right? So that is very important, that you ensure that that respect that you have kept for your parents is also given to your in-laws. Because the
Right.
moment he sees that I'm not respecting my in-laws, or I see that he doesn't respect my parents, the boat is going to rock, definitely.
I also like to add here.
Mm.
It's not when we say in-laws management doesn't end there.
Mm.
Again, the unwritten rule in our own Indian world, because
Mm.
I'll tell you, in the outside India, nowhere people, maybe in China, yes, nowhere else people talk about in-laws, right? Because there
True.
is no parents only. They actually walk out at the age of
A
18,
nuclear family,
Right.
yeah.
right? Now, in India, yes, it's in-laws and family extended. It's very important. Now, while yes, we are ensuring that the respect for the in-laws and all of that is there, it is important as an husband.
Mm.
By default, he gets the respect from their in-laws.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
true.
that is again social conditioning. But the wife doesn't get the same respect from my parents from day one. Doesn't, not in many cases. Maybe some places it happened, but many
Right.
majority, the wife has to earn that respect. Right, that's how it is always looked at. Is how she behaves, how she moves. Based on that, they will. But by default, the husband will get that respect
True.
in the other in-laws' house.
True.
Now, when she is struggling to earn that respect, as an husband, it's important you support, enable, facilitate. That her respect is also not falling down in the house. All right, so it's inclusive
Yes.
as a family, that we need to see that the in-laws, everybody is in the harmony along with my wife, and that's important, is what I wanted to say additionally.
True, true, true.
Okay, and the last rule,
Yeah, last rule is the
I will say
fundamental
this.
rule.
Yes,
Yeah,
I would say
you
this.
say it. It's
The
okay.
sixth rule is the most important rule. It's trust, right? In my word, this trust. What is this trust? I will simply say, don't lie to the partner. Do not lie. It may look that at this point of time you want to lie and get away from that, but in the long run, it is not going to help. I'm telling you, especially for men, you will never remember what all lies you made. But all the lies the women will remember very beautifully. You will then get caught easily. Rather than getting into all these problems, be truthful and win the trust. And if this fundamental sixth ground rule is broken, any of the five rules has no meaning,
Correct.
Right.
right?
And to extend to what Viju was saying, of course, for him, which is very true, don't lie, because we can easily find out. I mean, I think we most women have that sensor ki yaar kuch to something is off track, off key, right? But for me, what is the meaning of trust for me is, you need to do what you say. Simple. If you are doing what you're saying is when I will be able to trust you. Because if you say something and do something else, then my trust is shaken. Even for something as simple and trivial, like you tell me I'm going to be back in 1 hour, you're coming after 8 hours or 6 hours or 2 hours or even 1.5 hours. For me, that is, I cannot trust you, right? So, so trust is actually at the, I would call it the foundation of building the relationship. People these days are so scared to trust, they don't even trust their partners with passwords. Even their mobile
Yeah.
passwords are not known to each other, right? But of course, it's their decision. But if you can't even trust your partner, with your mobile password, what are you going to live your entire life with that partner for? Right. So that is what we believe. And if you allow us to sum it up in one word, whatever
Six
six
ground rules.
ground rules that we have told you, it's simple. You commit in the relationship. COMMIT. Conflict management, open channel of communication, mutual trust and respect,
Money
sorry,
management.
mutual respect and growth, money management, in-laws and relationship, family, extended family management, and trust.
Commit.
Yeah, so you commit in a relationship truly.
Wow. I will remember this comment, right? And I think people will also remember this. And let me tell you, this was a special episode, and very important for people to understand that dream career is just not about like building your career, but it is always connected with dream life. And this is where I wanted you both to be here and then share that. because it really hurts when people are focused on their careers, but after a long time they realize that they have left everything behind, their families, the people whom they wanted to support and whom they wanted to enjoy the journey with them, right? They have left behind them. So but all these tips, whatever you have given, I can call it as golden nuggets, and I'm sure like people who are going to watch this later as well, some people have been watching it live and people who are going to watch it later, it's going to be like really great in terms of learning. And yes, of course, your book is also there. People
Yes,
can pick up that book from Amazon and then read it so that they can also build their dream life along with their dream career.
beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you for that. It's been really amazing. I think, spending this 1.5 hours. I know we went a little bit
Over the
overboard,
time, yeah.
but yes, sometimes when we talk to couples, it goes for hours and hours,
True.
and we get lost in that conversation. But anyway, thank you for giving us this opportunity here to
Yeah.
share.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fatah. Thank you so much. We are always in gratitude and we've always looked upon you.
And I'm thanking all
All the
this.
people who have been so sweet
Yeah,
enough
I
to
can see
comment.
Poonam, a lot of
Krishnan,
them, right?
Hina,
Yeah.
my dad and mom have also commented.
Yes. Sumant, Rupshri, Murli, Deepak, Krishnan,
Selva Parni, Poonam Patil, Manoj Naresh. Thank you so
Hina,
much for
yeah.
being so kind, with your comments. We
Maria, my
totally.
friend also says from Dubai. Good.
Oh,
Nazir,
okay.
Manoj. Thank you so much for all
Thank
these
you.
comments. It really motivates us to also,
Keep going.
keep going in our
on
movement.
path. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Fatah.
you for being here and sharing those important thought process that you have and those tips and tricks which people can follow. And I'm sure this is going to help a lot of people. And more power to you for whatever you are doing, because I strongly believe a dream career cannot be complete until you actually build your dream life. And dream life is all about your partners, your family, your kids, and everything. So you have been doing some amazing job out there, and more power to you for your movement. So
Thank
thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Fatah.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much.
Yeah.
It's an honor.
Thanks everybody for watching us live, and I'm sure you're going to love this. And yes, of course, stay tuned because we are going to come up with more episodes of Dream Career Talk Show, which can help you to not only build your dream career but also dream life. Thank you and stay blessed. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.